Tour de force of truth. The truth the rest of the media often ignores or, far more troublingly, buries. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome to it on this Thursday. We will begin with a truly shocking story out of Dane County. If you would like to join us on this foray into broadcast excellence, or at the very least, and let's face it, far more likely, broadcast competence, give us a call or shoot us a text on the adventknows.com talk and text line, 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476. That's where you can reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. DOD@iHeartMedia.com is the email address. Watch the show streaming live on X at Dan O'Donnell Show, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. We are streaming live there as well. Retweet us on X, share the show on Facebook to get it in front of more people, and be sure on YouTube, just search for Dan O'Donnell. Like this video, subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show channel, and that way you can get updates for when we go live each and every weekday at 9 a.m. Each and every hour, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., we are playing the nationwide Spring Green Cash Contest. And the word this hour for you to win $1,000 in cash instantly is bank. B-A-N-K, bank. You have got until 55 past this hour to go to our website, enter the keyword bank. If your entry is picked at random, you, sir or madam, will win $1,000 in cash instantly. We are also giving away a pair of tickets to go see one of my absolute favorite artists coming to Milwaukee August 22nd at the Miller High Life Theater. Lindsey Sterling, the electric violinist, who you hear often, whether or not you realize it, on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Her songs feature heavily into our bumper music rotation. A brazen crime last week in the city of Fitchburg. April 9th, 2024, at about 12:09 in the afternoon, Fitchburg police officers were dispatched to a report of an armed robbery in the parking lot of a restaurant. According to the call, a woman with an infant was robbed at knifepoint and battered. The suspect fled the scene. When officers arrived on the scene, they developed a potential escape path for said suspect, who was believed to have been in the area between a DNR property and the Eagle School, a K-8 school located in Fitchburg. The Eagle School, as a result of the armed suspect potentially taking off nearby, went into a lockdown as a precaution due to its proximity to the area the suspect was believed to have fled to. Eagle School was in lockdown for approximately an hour. DNR wardens also responded to assist with attempting to locate the suspect. This is from the criminal complaint. At the time the call was dispatched, officers responded to the location of the victim. A Spanish-speaking officer interviewed the victim, who was a Spanish speaker and did not understand English. EMS was called to respond because the victim had injuries from the assault. The victim was verbally identified as Ana Lisbeth Valenzuela Cruz. She reported she was parked in the parking lot, exited her vehicle, and began taking the car seat, which held her 9-month-old daughter, out of the back seat. When Anna turned around while holding the car seat with her daughter, there was a white male standing directly in front of her. The male was attempting to conceal a knife that he was holding in his left hand by covering it with the cuff of his shirt. The suspect approached Anna in a threatening manner and said something in English which she did not understand. The suspect then punched Anna multiple times. Anna then fell to the ground while holding the car seat holding her daughter. The suspect continued to punch Anna while she was on the ground, crying, trying to protect her child. Anna believed also she was kicked while she was on the ground. Anna said she was afraid the suspect was going to continuously hurt her and possibly her child. The suspect then forcefully took Anna's purse from her and fled south toward a pick and save. Anna had multiple injuries documented on the scene, which included a red area on her left cheek, a small red area on her left wrist, red linear marks on her upper left arm, redness to her ear, a small faint blush bruise on her upper left arm, and other areas she reported as painful. She stated these injuries were from the suspect punching her. Anna described the suspect as being a white male in his mid-20s, approximately 5'6" to 5'7" inches tall, 160 to 170 pounds, scruffy facial hair, wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, dark pants, and a black hat. Officers then looked at video surveillance from the scene, which showed a subject wearing all black running from the north and entering the passenger side of the vehicle after assaulting Anna. The vehicle then fled from the scene. A detective was able to locate the suspect vehicle on the flock safety camera system, which monitors vehicles in the area. The vehicle was the same make, model, color, and had a bumper sticker that was the same shape, color, and appearance as the suspect vehicle. The vehicle was registered to Manuel Torres Fernandez. Here is where the case takes an almost unbelievable turn. Who do you think was arrested in this case? Manuel, Anna, or both? The answer is both. Why do you think so? And how does this relate to President Biden's border crisis? On April 10th, detectives went to talk with Manuel. He initially denied any involvement whatsoever in the incident the previous day, but then admitted to detectives he was paid $600 to be part of a plan. Manuel said he was the driver for a woman by the name of Denise B. Rivas Mardones. Denise was supposed to pretend to assault Anna and take her purse. Denise was being paid to do this, and the purse contained her payment. Why would she do this? Manuel said the victim paid Denise to rob her because she wanted to be a victim of a crime in order to get a visa. This sort of visa is known as a U visa, which, according to the federal government, is set aside for victims of certain crimes who have suffered mental or physical abuse and are helpful to law enforcement or government officials in the investigation or prosecution of criminal activity. Congress created the U non-immigrant visa with the passage of the Victims of Trafficking and Violence Protection Act in October of 2000. In other words, Anna is an illegal immigrant who's looking to get a visa as a victim of a crime. So as long as she could be helpful in the prosecution, she thought she'd be able to legally stay in the United States on a U visa. So she concocted this plan in order to get the visa. Now, why would Denise B. Rivas Mardones agree to be a part of it? Well, once detectives talked to Denise, according to the criminal complaint, she reported that the victim of the crime, who she knew as Anna, offered Denise $2,000 to pretend to rob her. Denise needed money to pay for an asylum attorney, and Anna wanted to be a victim of a crime in order to get her visa. Denise and Anna met up to plan the robbery. They went to Goodwill together, and Anna purchased the knife that was used and suspect clothing for Denise to wear. They drove around looking for places to do the fake robbery. They were originally going to do the robbery at a location in Madison, but there were too many cameras in the area. Denise later went with Manuel to continue planning the fake robbery. They found the location they wanted to use, which was the parking lot in Fitchburg. Denise and Manuel took pictures and videos showing the location where Anna was to park and where Denise would come from. Denise then went to Anna's house in Oregon to show her the pictures and video and continue planning the robbery. Denise said that Anna gave herself injuries using a tool used for facials. Denise said that during the incident, she carried the knife by the cardboard sheath that was covering the blade. She took the knife out onto the ground and took the sheath with her when she left the scene. Denise struck Anna but could not bring herself to hit her hard. Denise then took the purse from Anna, which contained the $2,000 payment. Denise fled to the car, which was being driven by Manuel, and fled the area. They went back to Manuel's apartment, where they threw the suspect's clothes, purse, and knife sheath in the dumpsters. Denise paid Manuel $600 and used the rest of the money to pay her asylum attorney. Detectives then go to talk with Anna. Anna at first denied faking the robbery. Anna eventually admitted that the robbery was fake and was a plan so she could get her visa. Anna had heard from people that if you are the victim of a crime, you can get legal papers. Anna continued to lie about suspects of the incident throughout the interview. Ultimately, Anna admitted to planning the robbery, paying Denise, and causing injuries to herself with the goal of getting a visa. Anna was arrested, and Manuel, Denise, and Anna were all transported to jail. All three have been charged with swatting, false reporting of an emergency, all as party to the crime. These are Class I felonies, punishable by not more than 3 years, 6 months in prison, and $10,000 in fines. Well, this is a new one. She faked a robbery because she had heard that if you're the victim of a crime, you get to stay in the United States. Not only that, did you happen to catch who she blamed for the robbery? A white male, 5'6" to 5'7", with scruffy hair. Not a Hispanic, not a black guy, white male. Oh, those darn white males and their knife point robberies all over the place. I've got to admit, as criminal conspiracies go, as sloppy as this one was, not bad. Her heart was in the right place. How much you want to bet this is absolutely not the first time that this sort of thing has happened or been attempted? By the way, kudos to the Fitchburg Police Department for getting to the bottom of this relatively quickly and not really believing Anna's story. This is just some excellent police work. I read as much as I could from the criminal complaint to give you an idea of what was going on. But really, the real heroes of the story are the Fitchburg detectives who figured out rather quickly, hey, this was a plot so she could get her visa. I'll tell you what. We're going to take some phone calls and texts on this because I'll admit, this is a new one. I've heard of a lot of criminal scams before, but faking being the victim of a crime to get a visa. We'll also discuss how this fits into Biden's border crisis and how easy it is for people to stay in this country. What is Anna actually thinking here? Does she really believe that under the Biden administration she'd ever be deported? We'll take your phone calls, your texts, 414-799-1130 on the adventknows.com talk and text line. Also, 1-800-838-9476. You can call or text us toll free.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
Hey, Milwaukee, Centix is celebrating 98 years. Check out amazing anniversary specials like natural pork baby back ribs for just $2.98 a pound. Natural black Angus ground chuck is just $3.98 a pound. And premium frozen North Atlantic cod loins are just $3.98 a pound. With the area's best quality and great prices like these, now that's a reason to celebrate. Centix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
When our parents were moving from the farm, we each got some furniture.
Ben and Arvid from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
There was one piece that still had our grandmother's name on it. It was on the back of the piece.
Written with lead pencil.
Yeah.
That was the piece of furniture that all five of us kids wanted.
Today, I tell people that ask me, like, okay, I bought this piece of heirloom furniture. Is there anything special I should do with it? Turn it around. Take a magic marker and write on that thing your name, when you bought this, where you bought it from. That piece will be cherished in your family for centuries to come.
PennyMustard.com.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at GreatMidwestBank.com.
There's a reason people sold to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
Very fair price. No real estate agent fees or closing costs.
Within weeks, we had closed and couldn't be happier.
Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellen Becker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
Classical conservatism. Contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
We are the only show officially endorsed by one Donald J. Trump.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
Welcome back to it. I am Dan O'Donnell. We are reporting exclusively this morning. I'll give it credit. I'll give the people involved credit. It is a rather unique scheme. An illegal immigrant, a woman by the name of Anna, faked a robbery. She was beaten, she claimed, at knife point while she was getting her baby out of the car seat outside of a restaurant. And a white male took her purse and ran off. Turns out the white male was actually an Hispanic woman that she's friends with, who she paid $2,000 to rob her so that Anna could get a U visa and stay in the country. U visas are reserved for the victims of crimes. They are presumably temporary while illegal immigrants are helping law enforcement solve crimes. But my guess is that in the Biden administration, those U visas are extended indefinitely. 3 people are charged in connection with this scheme. So why did Anna, first of all, I question where she got the $2,000 in order to pay her friend Denise. Denise needed the money in order to pay for her asylum attorney. So Denise, also an illegal immigrant, the wheelman in this case, Manuel, was paid $600. You want to guess whether he's an illegal alien or not? Now, I wonder here, are any of these people going to face deportation for this. Is Fitchburg a sanctuary community? I can tell you Fitchburg has an excellent police chief, former Milwaukee police chief Alfonso Morales. So it's really no surprise that Fitchburg detectives were able to get to the bottom of this case quickly. We are taking phone calls. Let's go to Bob in Oak Creek. Bob, you're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, sir?
I'm totally amazed that this is the first time you've heard of this situation. This has been going on for years. Republicans in Congress have been trying to get rid of this loophole. But as you can imagine, the Democrats are totally...
Bob, I think we're going to have to let you go. I'm sorry, you appear to be underwater and drowning. Cell phone trouble. Get back to us. Yeah, I guess this is more common, far more common. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have not heard of this. Republicans in Congress, Bob was saying, have been trying to get rid of this loophole. In fact, on the same day Anna reported her alleged crime. This, the story from the New York Post. An armed robber who was shot and killed by a bystander was only pretending to hold up a couple in a twisted, ongoing plot to get a non-immigrant visa, according to officials charging an alleged accomplice in felony murder. Happened in Houston, Texas. Rashad Scott, 22, was seen on surveillance footage late January 27th, running up to a couple filling up their car at a Chevron gas station, according to documents shared by Fox News Digital. After seemingly robbing the pair of a purse and wallet, he turned and ran before an alarmed witness pulled out a gun and shot him in the head, killing him. However, a series of messages later showed that Scott wasn't even really robbing the couple, with his widow, Sade Beverly, telling cops it was a setup as part of an ongoing crime ring. In a police interview, one of the pretend victims confirmed that the robbery was in fact a setup, and the purpose of the scheme is to obtain a U visa. Police realized there was a pattern of similar reported robberies, and the victims had applied for or been granted U visas due to their status as victims of these crimes. A number of people were subsequently arrested in this. Marie in Milwaukee, you're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Marie?
Good morning. Yeah, just like Bob, I just wanted to say it's very common in the last maybe 3 to 5 years, and it's mostly...
Wait, Marie. No way. In the last 3 years, what happened 3 years ago this January 20th?
I don't know. Weird. Somebody got elected. I don't know.
So weird that there was a huge spike in this sort of crime the exact moment that Biden was inaugurated. I'm sorry, Marie. I just, as soon as you said that, had to point out that bizarre coincidence. Keep going, please.
Yeah, and, you know, you see like in court, and it's actually really sad because most of it is during alleging domestic violence, because that's kind of the easiest way.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of, unfortunately, it's, you know, domestic violence is real, but then there's the other side where they just want to break up or sick of him, don't want to be with him, and then they just allege domestic violence, and it's almost automatic. They get a U visa.
How long do you happen to know, Marie? You sound like you're very knowledgeable about this stuff, and I'll admit this was the first time. I guess I'm naive, and this is where I'm actually sort of surprised in myself, because I'm about the most cynical son of a gun there is. Right? I've seen it all, and I'll admit this one just totally, it was a blind spot for me. I guess I assumed when I was forwarded this criminal complaint, I said, okay, if this is going on in Fitchburg, I sort of assumed, okay, it's clearly going on in Milwaukee. It's clearly going on most likely places outside of the country or outside of the state that are closer to the border, Arizona, Texas, California, and so forth. But I guess my question is, how do you have any knowledge as to how long these U visas will typically be in effect for? Is it just for the duration of the criminal prosecution, or do they get to stay indefinitely?
No, my understanding is they just get to stay indefinitely and then have to renew it at some point. But it's not like just during the prosecution, because a lot of the times these cases are pled out with, you know, misdemeanors or with, I mean, not with misdemeanors, with tickets, with disorderly conduct tickets, but a victim is a victim. So, yeah, it's actually really sad because there's so much real domestic violence going on, and then all these fake ones. But it's super prevalent. The thing is, these guys jumped the shark. I mean, these guys went overboard in Fitchburg, but it didn't have to be that complicated. They could have gotten one a lot easier.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, why actually stage a robbery? Why not just throw your purse away and say, hey, someone just stole my purse and ran off? I guess you would see, the surveillance cameras or something like that. I don't know. But, hey, we have got quite possibly the funniest story you are going to hear all week. I wanted to save this for How Bizarre tomorrow, our story about, our segment about the strangest stories of the week. I couldn't. It's simply too funny. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, the Great Utah Furry Protest of 2024. You heard that right. The Great Furry Protest in Utah. I'm telling you, this story's got everything.
The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Spring is in the air, and the deals are heating up at Lynch. Get this, Lynch has over 800 new vehicles on the ground ready for immediate delivery. Spring into savings with huge rebates and financing starting as low as 0%. Lynch has new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, Rams, Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. On top of their fantastic new car selection, they have a huge inventory of pre-owned vehicles that come with the Lynch Protected Peace of Mind, a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty, and Lynch certification that includes a 168-point inspection, plus a 10-day, 500-mile satisfaction guarantee exchange policy. The Lynch family of dealerships truly has your back, whether you're shopping for a new or used car. Huge spring savings event going on now at all Lynch locations, or check them out 24 hours a day at shoplynch.com.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no jobs too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Hey everybody, Dan here, and if you're like me and you can't get enough NBA action, you have got to try Pick 6, the newest real money fantasy app from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. Getting started is simple. Pick if a player will have more or less of a stat. For example, will he have more or less than 18.5 points? Will he have more or less than 5.5 rebounds? It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool way to pick, and you compete against others for big cash prizes. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WISN. New customers can get up to $200 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Only on Pick 6 from DraftKings with code WISN. The crown is yours. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $2,000 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 180 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states. Age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Pick 6 not available available in all states. For up-to-date list of states, visit dkng.co/pick6states. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join Joe Brown for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Blue Mountain Express.
This is Rick Vanderboom with Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage, and we'll improve your move.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage, statewide.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend Accunet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which Accunet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SECURE to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text SECURE to 989898. That's SECURE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Conservative thought, not just talk. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, great news for both Donald Trump and Eric Hovde in Wisconsin in the form of a brand new Marquette University Law School poll. Also, how you can tell WIS red. The way that conservatives just keep winning local races in Waukesha County is a great deal. A hair on fire article in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. I've been saying for years now, every single county in the state needs to adopt the WIS Red initiative, and I think this article proves it. In Utah, students and parents walked out at Mount Nebo Middle School yesterday because of furries. Yes, furries. Kids in school who dress up in cartoon animal outfits and pretend to be animals, allegedly scratching, clawing, hissing at, biting, and otherwise tormenting other students. The news report from last night's ABC4 newscast is simply too hilarious not to share.
We begin in Payson, where a group of about 75 protesters showed up to Nebo Middle School today. They say it's an issue over students who call themselves furries. But how much of that discontent is fueled by rumor? Our Sarah Murphy asked that question. She's here with what she found out. Sarah, what's this all about?
All right, Brian. Well, the term furry, it refers to someone interested in animals with human qualities. Now, they...
Oh, is that what it is, Sarah? Thank you. Yes, we're very interested in animals with human character. No, it's people who get a, shall we say, thrill out of dressing like Bugs Bunny.
Dress up like this as a cartoon version of an animal. Now, we've learned there have been reports at Nebo Middle School that students are getting mistreated over this topic.
Now, from that intro, you would think that it's the regular kids, the normies, as it were, beating up on and bullying the furries. No, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out at Nebo Middle School, the furries are the bullies.
There was some kids dressed up as animals, and I heard that another kid got bit by one of them.
There's a lot of...
That alone, I hope that kid got a rabies shot. That alone makes this story worthwhile.
Speculation surrounding the protest that happened at Nebo Middle School Wednesday morning. Nearly 75 students and parents showed up facing the school, saying they're unhappy with how administration is handling reports of harassment.
Okay.
You guys cannot record me without my permission!
This is...
That seems like a well-adjusted young lady, doesn't it? Dealing with middle school perfectly fine. By the way, you could see her tail in that. They blurred out her face, but you could see her tail as the other kids were filming.
Video a Nebo Middle School student took last week. Parents say there's an issue between some students and others who call themselves furries, or people who enjoy dressing up as cartoonish animals.
Back when I went to school, you couldn't dress that way, you couldn't do certain things, and I think it kind of needs to go back a little bit. Like, I know kids need their own personalities, but it's ridiculous when kids are dressing like animals and licking and biting people. I just don't think that's okay.
Yeah, I would say licking and biting other kids would be not okay. Also, when did we get away from the provocative or distracting dress being prohibited in schools? For example, I can remember when I was a kid, and I grew up in the 90s, you couldn't wear a Big Johnson t-shirt. Now, I went to a Catholic school, so you can imagine. We had a dress code. You had to wear producer Dave's kids go to. You still have the white or powder blue top. We couldn't do khakis. We could only do dark blue or black pants. Yes, the khakis are a new thing. But you couldn't wear Big Johnson t-shirts for obvious reasons. You couldn't wear, I remember when I was really young, you couldn't wear Simpsons t-shirts for dress down days or, jeans days or whatever it was. I can only imagine wearing a Halloween costume to school would probably be frowned upon.
But the Nebo School District tells us it's not that extreme. Seth Sorensen says no one was scratching or biting anyone and that there are a lot of untrue rumors going around.
It actually is not something that's been occurring. In fact, a lot of the information that's been put out there is completely incorrect and inaccurate. And so we're still trying to get on top of that.
Thank you. This is Strudel, a member of the furry fandom.
Yes, they interviewed a random furry in costume. This is where I wish this show was on television. I know we do the Dano Cam. We really don't have the ability to play videos simultaneously and get them synced up with audio. Strudel, who, yes, was only identified on television as Strudel, was dressed up as a giant puppy dog while talking to the reporter.
Though they've been a furry for over a decade, they have their own opinions.
It's crazy that it's escalated to this point where these kids are being so distracting to their peers that their peers want to stage a walkout. So to have, the next generation kind of muddy our name and not...
Oh yes, the fine furry name. You see, the furry community has been very upstanding until these punk kids started scratching and biting and peeing in litter boxes all over the place.
Represent it very well. It is kind of disappointing.
Strudel believes there should be some limits.
Continue doing things you like, continue dressing up, continue making art, but maybe let's keep it outside of school hours.
As for the school, Sorensen says they have one main goal.
We want every student to feel safe when they come to school, and we want students to get along. In fact, we want adults to get along.
Okay, so the district says they've worked with some students whose dress and appearance they say might be disruptive to the school environment. They say they do invite parents to talk with administration to learn more about how they're handling the situation. Brian, back to you.
Okay, so I've got a couple of questions here. You've got kids who are clearly reporting to administration and their parents that they're being bitten and kicked and scratched and all of this, but school administration, clearly because they're terrified of seeming like they're somehow cracking down on the furries, that they're discriminatory against the furries, isn't taking seriously reports of violence at school. And you've got this administrator Sorensen saying, no, these are false rumors. Nothing like that has happened. Well, why? There was some B-roll from this ABC4 footage that we can't really play because you just can't hear. It's a group of kids. And you know when you talk to a group of kids, they're all shouting stuff at the same time. They are saying, yes, absolutely. One is saying, I was bitten and I was kicked by this one girl, okay? So this is a direct complaining witness, someone who says, I was not just the victim of school misbehavior, but in any other context outside of a school, this is a crime. Someone bites you, someone kicks you, you are the victim of a crime. That's assault. The school, though, is saying, well, no, there's nothing going on here. And obviously, the community is so upset that the school isn't doing anything that they're staging a widespread walkout. Now, admittedly, a lot of the rumors about the furries, that it's widespread, that schools are installing litter boxes in bathrooms, that's simply not true. Okay, this was maybe 6 months to a year ago. Oh, schools are installing. I believe Joe Rogan repeated that. That's not true. The story was that they're having litter boxes in the case of a lockdown emergency or a school shooting event or something like that. Like one school somewhere in the country did this, and that sort of got, it's like a game of telephone. People kind of get the story confused and conflated with other stuff. In any event, clearly something is going on in this school. But the school, because the furries are claiming some sort of minority or privileged status, the school is afraid to do anything to them. My suggestion, just get these kids declawed. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We name the unhinged liberal of the day coming up next.
Dan O'Donnell is coming right back after this.
Now is a great time to visit your Steins store. Steins has everything you need to create the garden, outdoor living, and home of your dreams. Whether it's the largest variety and selection of plants or home decor, experience what's in store for you this season. Proudly planted in Wisconsin and growing with you since 1946.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is a unique place, and there aren't many businesses around like us. We're locally owned, but we've been known to do business on a nationwide scale. We're a retail business, but we're also a distributor. We sell the finest windows and doors and install them all with Craftsman detail. But we also carry the widest selection of replacement parts you can find, and are happy to give you valuable advice, so you actually don't have to buy new replacement windows or doors just yet. Like I said, we are different, And that's good. In fact, it's great for you. And it's been great for thousands of our customers who rely on us year in and year out for the best products and industry expertise you just can't find everywhere. This is David Wilhelm. For the highest quality replacement windows and doors and a massive selection of the parts you need to make them last, your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
I love hearing about how satisfied listeners are with Engine and Transmission Exchange, one of my longtime endorsements. Just the other day, it was our producer, Dave Michaels. One of his cars was hesitating, and his dealer had a complicated fix that would cost $8,000. Shocked, Dave took his car to Engine and Transmission Exchange, whose mechanics looked at it, knocked some corrosion off of some part or another. It worked just fine. ETE's charge to Dave Michaels? Nothing. This is how they roll at ETE, folks. They'll only fix something if it needs it, and sometimes Vince and his crew will shock you with a no charge because they feel like they didn't do much. But you can't put a price on that sort of experience and honesty. It's why over the years I and many of you have come to love Engine and Transmission Exchange. All of your work will be done by ASE certified technicians, and they'll only do what needs to be done, and they'll do it right. With locations on South 27th Street in Milwaukee and West Avenue in Waukesha, they have easy drop-off and pickup times and will work around your busy schedule. Check out enginetrans.com for details. Enginetrans.com. It's Engine and Transmission Exchange.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Don't let the stress of buying a new car outweigh the excitement. With Car Gurus, you can buy or sell a car exactly how you want. That's why millions of people use Car Gurus. Do all the upfront work online and search their massive selection by budget, make, model, and features. Compare prices to know you got the best deal, then head in for a test drive. Take charge of your buying or selling experience today and get it with Car Gurus at CARGURUS.com. That's CarGurus.com.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, where reputation matters and character counts. Veteran owned and operated. Go to SemperFiRoofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Biz Expo is May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn from the experts at the strategy seminars and keynote on building a legendary brand. Connect with business leaders and customers at Biz Expo May 22nd. Register at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Let Tri-County Contracting take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows from Tri-County Contracting. Call us at 262-679-6100 or visit us online at tricountycontractingwi.com.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
I'm just going to warn you, folks. This is one of the most cringe things you're going to hear. When I say cringe, I don't mean gross. I don't mean, I mean cringe as in, Today's unhinged liberal of the day is left-wing sports writer Greg Doyle of the Indianapolis Star. During Caitlin Clark's introductory press conference for the Indiana Fever, after she was taken number 1 overall in the WNBA draft on Monday, Doyle attempted to hit on her by doing Clark's signature hand heart gesture where she puts her hands up in the shape of a heart at her family after every game. Well, Doyle did that to her while he was asking a question, and the exchange that followed was...
Hi, Caitlin. Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Real quick, let me do this.
You like that?
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so.
Okay, well, let's start doing it to me and we'll be able to get along just fine. So, question is...
I like that you're here, Caitlin. I like that you're here. You start doing that to me and we'll be just fine, sweetheart. Why is it? And Doyle has written columns about how he is such a good liberal, one that I found while researching this segment in 2020, that white people need to stop saying there's no racism because we are the problem. We are all, he said, Donald Trump, the ultimate racist. Why is it that the dudes who pass themselves off as the arbiters of good moral behavior and social consciousness are always the biggest creeps? Greg Doyle, your unhinged liberal of the day. He has since penned a big apology column to Caitlin Clark saying, Caitlin, was part of the problem. Oh, Greg, it's so good and big of you to admit you are a really, really cringy dude, man. Really cringy. Caitlin Clark, by the way, and I'm not taking credit for being like a Nostradamus here. I did call it, but this was the easiest thing in the world to call. Caitlin Clark did indeed get an 8-figure endorsement deal with Nike. She is going to get her own signature shoe. I said she might even be topping 9 figures because what she's worth to women's college basketball. My guess is that this deal is going to balloon based on the sales of the shoe. I'm predicting right now that this is going to be the best-selling girls' basketball shoe on the market, outselling Jordans, outselling pretty much everything, because girls, high school on down, they are absolutely enamored with Caitlin Clark. So can we put to rest this idea that somehow Caitlin Clark is underpaid because of the gender pay gap? President Biden tweeted out, or at least it was past his bedtime, well past his bedtime. So his handlers tweeted out on Monday night after the WNBA draft, well, it's far past time for there to be pay equity. Give me a break, man. The NBA pays its players far more than the WNBA because the NBA had $10 billion in revenue last year. The WNBA had $60 million, and in 2022, it actually lost money. Simply put, the WNBA can't afford to pay its players large salaries. Those players supplement their income by playing overseas, or in the case of the superstars like Caitlin Clark, getting endorsement deals. Are we now going to say it's not fair to all the men languishing on NBA benches that they don't have an 8-figure shoe endorsement deal with Nike like Caitlin Clark does? Let's get real here.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Tad Allen. What was a missing persons case in Milwaukee has turned into a homicide investigation. 41-year-old Tamika Stewart, who was reported missing after being last seen Sunday, was found dead yesterday morning in Milwaukee's north side. Police said a 41-year-old man was taken into custody in connection to Stewart's death. They add that the Milwaukee woman's death was domestic violence related. The Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office is reviewing charges in the case. A new Marquette Law School poll has Donald Trump and Tammy Baldwin with narrow leads in Wisconsin. The latest poll has the former president supported by 51% of registered voters in the state and President Biden by 49%. The numbers are identical among likely voters. In the U.S. Senate race, the Democrat incumbent Baldwin has the support of 52% of registered voters, while Republican challenger Eric Hovde has 47%. Among likely voters, the race is a dead heat. Jury selection is set to resume today in former President Trump's hush money trial in New York City. That's after a break yesterday. 7 jurors have already been selected from a pool of 96. The judge in the case says he hoped to have 12 jurors as well as alternates selected by the end of the day tomorrow. Today's focus will be to find potential jurors that can be fair and impartial when it comes to Trump, who faces 34 counts of falsifying business records and has pleaded not guilty. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Brewers have today off before heading to St. Louis to start a weekend series with the Cardinals tomorrow night. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Before you buy an annuity, or worse yet, a variable life insurance policy, give us a chance to tell you both sides of the story.
Financial strategies. What's the way to build your wealth?
Go to financialstrategiesinc.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Rain returns to our area by midday, continues into the afternoon and early evening. Should see around 1/4 inch to 1/3 inch in most areas. High today around 54 with a breezy northwest wind, clearing up overnight tonight and mid-50s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by ARR Recycling in Waukesha and West Dallas.
Recycling pays. Go to ARR with your recyclable copper, brass, lead, steel, or aluminum and get cash. Visit them at ARR1938.com or stop into their West Dallas or Waukesha location. ARR Recycling since 1938.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cabovers than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit LynchTruckCenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols and everything they they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Get tickets to all Brewers games now, including a weekend showdown against the Yankees, April 26th through the 28th. Don't miss a City Connect tumbler giveaway on the 27th. Get seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, news, talk, and sports radio. Podcasts, too. Download the app. Free never sounded so good.
President Biden having a normal one the last couple of days. We'll get to that as the second hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show begins. If you would like to join it, the AdventNews.com talk and text line is open. 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476. That is our toll-free talk and text line. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and our YouTube channel, all where you can watch the show streaming live. Just search for Dan O'Donnell on YouTube. Nationwide keyword in the Spring Green Cash Contest this hour is Bills. B-I-L-L-S. Bills. You have until 55 past the hour to go to newstalk1130.com or WIBA.com and enter the word Bills to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked totally at random, you will totally win $1,000 in cash instantly. President Biden is issuing a stern warning to Israel. Do not, I repeat, do not invade Haifa.
And I made it clear to Israelis, don't move on Haifa. It's just not, I mean, anyway, I just, look what we did recently when Israel was attacked.
Surprisingly, the Israelis are complying. They have no plans to move on Haifa. Primarily because Haifa is in Israel. We think he meant Rafah, which is in the Palestinian territories, but it's unclear what exactly is going on in Biden's head. He did, after all, say yesterday that his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
Back when D-Day occurred, and on Sunday, the next day, my mother's 4 brothers all went down to the recruiting station and joined the military. Every one of them volunteered. And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, they called him Bosie. My Uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there used to be
There are a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Biden does have a tell. Whenever he is lying about something and telling something that is an obvious lie, he either says, for real, or I'm not kidding. This may shock you, but Lieutenant Ambrose Finnegan was most certainly not eaten by cannibals. In fact, pretty much everything you heard in that 43-second soundbite was a lie. First of all, Biden said that all 4 of his mother's brothers enlisted in the Army the day after D-Day, or excuse me, the day after Pearl Harbor, right? That is what he said, right?
Back when D-Day occurred, and on Sunday, the next day, my mother's 4 brothers all went down to the recruiting station and joined the military.
That didn't sound okay. I thought he had said D-Day, because D-Day most certainly didn't occur on a Saturday. As he said, it was Tuesday, June 6, 1944. And this originally, it should have caused some questions, because most of the guys at that era didn't enlist right after D-Day. What day did they enlist after? Pearl Harbor. They would have enlisted the day after Pearl Harbor, or at least when word reached them that the United States had been attacked. That was when you had the massive wave, when war was declared and you had our boys rushing in to sign up. Lieutenant Ambrose Finnegan, Bosie, was not a pilot. He was not a reconnaissance pilot. He was a ground crew member. He was an ordnance officer. And in 1944, he was the passenger of an A-20, a twin-engine, not a single-engine plane, that ditched. It was not shot down. There was some sort of mechanical issue. It went down in the Bismarck Sea, not in New Guinea, in an area where there were a lot of cannibals. Biden also said that all 4 of his uncles enlisted the day after D-Day. I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, saying he meant Pearl Harbor, but that's not true too. Ambrose Finnegan enlisted on January 21st, 1941. He was actually shot down a little less than a month before D-Day, or excuse me, he ditched. He was never shot down. May 14th, 1944, that is the date that military records show Lieutenant Ambrose Finnegan went missing. Brand new Marquette University Law School poll also out the same day that Biden is telling a wild story. He told it twice in one day yesterday, and then once the day before. Now, I had not heard this particular anecdote before. Is it something he's always said? It's kind of impossible to tell. Biden is sort of like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. Was it Frank Abagnale? Just kind of a con man who says whatever he wants to about his life. Biden is the political equivalent of Brian Williams. No matter what happened to him in his life, he is going to tell you something that is wildly inaccurate. And it's always a form of puffery. It's always a form of lying to make himself sound better, sound cooler, sound whatever. This got me thinking. Marquette University Law School poll and every other poll. Do you know what question is never asked? Because in the Marquette poll, there was, does the phrase too old to be president better apply to Biden or Trump? 80% of respondents said Biden. 58% said Trump. Do you know a question, to my knowledge, has never been asked by a single pollster? Do you believe that Biden is in mental decline? Do you believe that Biden is showing signs of cognitive decline? It's always his age, his age, his age. It's not his age. I know tons of 81-year-olds who are about as sharp as a tack. There's a woman who is 92, 93 years young, lovely, loyal listener by the name of Shirley, who emails me regularly just commenting about the news. I always look forward to hearing from Shirley, sharp as a tack. This isn't about his age. It's about the obvious, and I mean obvious mental impairment that he's been showing. I mean, we have been seeing over the past 4 years. Go back and watch Biden in one of his little basement appearances during the campaign of 2020. Even from then until now, it is a noticeable decline. And then if you go back to at any point where Biden was vice president, leading up to go back to a random speech. Go back to, here's a good one. Go back to the debate he had in 2012 with Paul Ryan, the vice presidential debate. He was obnoxious. He was lying. He was a turd. But he didn't show signs of decline. 2020, he did now. It's remarkable he can string 3 sentences together. And here's the thing, his handlers know it. This is a big reason, I suspect, perhaps the biggest reason, that he fails the most basic test. Are you physically and mentally up to the task of being president? That he is trailing Donald Trump in pretty much every swing state, including here in Wisconsin. Brand new Marquette University Law School poll released yesterday. Among registered and likely voters, Trump is leading Biden 51% to 49%. Now, what is kind of unique here, and I think this is reflective of what's going on nationwide in a whole lot of Democrats coming home to Biden, Trump actually loses more support than Biden to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and various third-party candidates. In the 5-way race, which includes Kennedy, the Green Party's Jill Stein, and independent Cornel West, Trump gets 41%, Biden 40%, Kennedy 13%, Stein 3%, West 2%. What I have thought over the last month was the reason that Biden is, oh my gosh, he's making such a run in the polls. No, what this is the flirtation with Bobby Kennedy is kind of over. And if you noticed, have you noticed this? Ever since Kennedy announced his vice presidential running mate, Nicole Shanahan, there is no coverage of him whatsoever. I believe the memo went out. Do not, under any circumstances, mention Bobby Kennedy. Do not talk about him, not even as a potential spoiler for Trump. Just pretend he is not running. Just pretend this is a 2-way race. Don't let people know that Bobby Kennedy is even in the race. In part because of that, but in larger part because this is just what voters tend to do. They'll say early on in races, and they may even believe that they're actually going to vote for a third-party candidate. As you get closer to the election, my guess is that you've got more and more of these independent voters coming home to either Trump or Biden and ultimately voting for one of the two. The other big deal in this poll, and it is a sizable deal, so sizable, in fact, that all mention of this Marquette poll, which came out less than 24 hours ago, is completely gone from the jsonline.com front page. Seriously, try to find any mention of this poll. Probably because it shows among likely voters, Eric Hovde is tied with Tammy Baldwin, 50% apiece. Yesterday, when the poll came out, the Journal Sentinel's hilarious, absolutely hilarious headline was, Baldwin leads Hovde among registered voters. Everyone knows that at this point in a race, you need to look at likely voters. Who actually knows what's going on? Who is more likely to vote? Among registered voters, Baldwin does lead 52 to 47%. But the fact that this race is tied in just the second poll since Hovde announced his candidacy is a huge, huge deal. The enthusiasm gap is also substantial, and it substantially benefits Donald Trump and Republicans. Among those who are very enthusiastic to vote, 59% support Trump, 41% support Biden. Among those who are not too enthusiastic to vote, 62% support Biden, 37% support Trump. Now, you may think, all right, well, look, this may be true, but people really, really hate Trump, right? Ultimately, his unfavorability is going to sink him because people just despise him. 56% of voters do, in fact, have a negative opinion of Trump. 43% positive. That's a net negative 13 favorability. Biden, net negative 19. 59% negative opinion, just 40% positive. That's massive. If Biden is more disliked than Trump, people can be persuaded to vote for Trump because they are so deeply dissatisfied with Biden. On key phrases this election, 80% say Biden is too old to be president. Just 58% say that for Trump. 58% say Trump has a strong record of accomplishments as president, while just 44% say the same thing about Joe Biden. This poll is about as disastrous as it gets for Democrats, and it's well in line with pretty much all swing state polls that we're seeing. In fact, an MRG poll in Michigan, also released yesterday, shows Trump with a 6-point lead, 42% to 36%. I don't like looking at individual polls, as you know, so I look at the realclearpolling.com average of polls. The only state in which Trump currently is trailing Biden is in Pennsylvania, and he's only trailing in the average of polls by 0.1%. Every other swing state, he's leading. I took a look back in 2020 at this same point last year. Same point in the race. Looked at the Real Clear Politics average of polls. The only state Trump was winning was Georgia, a state he ultimately lost. Every other state, every other swing state, every one of which Trump ended up losing. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. Trump was trailing. If you go back to 2016, where Trump won Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, he was still trailing in all of those polls. The fact that he's actually leading right now, and this is just a moment in time, it's a snapshot in time. It gives you the benefit of knowing where the race is right now. And let's face it, folks, there is a big variable going on right now in a courtroom in New York, Trump's criminal trial. You got 30% of even Republican voters saying that a Trump criminal conviction is going to make it less likely that they vote for him. This, of course, is the plan. This is why the federal government, the Biden federal government, is taking no chances. They indicted Trump twice, 2 different criminal cases, both filed by the Biden Justice Department. And then you've got a couple of rogue prosecutors in both Georgia and New York. And what's been the freakout over the last couple of months? That we might not get multiple convictions of Trump before Election Day. You couldn't give up the game any worse if you tried. This is all about knocking down Trump's advantage with voters who don't really know what's going on. They're independents. And by the way, in this Marquette poll, independents are overwhelmingly breaking for Trump. They're also breaking for Tammy Baldwin, but that's only because they don't know who Eric Hovde is. They're breaking for Trump, but they are softer in their support for him. And they also are less likely to know what these criminal trials are really about. They're the ones who will say, oh my gosh, he was convicted. He must have done something wrong. He was charged. He must have done something wrong. They don't understand that this isn't even a case that legally or constitutionally could be brought against Trump in New York. They're just going to see the conviction and they're going to say, well, I don't think I'm going to vote for him. Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk. It's coming right back after this. Hey there, Dan O'Donnell for my amazing friends at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses, where the floor sample sale and clearance is on now. Shop where the O'Donnell family shops. Now more than ever, it's the time to support Built Right, a locally and family-owned business for 4 generations and 96 years strong. Built Right has the best selection and best team in town, and they are celebrating 18 years in their Greenfield location. Built Right's 45,000 square foot showroom has thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses. Special and custom orders are faster in 2024. You'll get the lowest prices on popular brands like Smith Brothers, Elran, Temple, Heirloom, Restonic, and Therapeutic. Built Right always saves you money. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association Retailer of the Year. Shop Built Right Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Well, I know I wouldn't want all my belongings and treasures being moved to my new home in a dirty old freight truck. And that's why we make sure when we move your things for you, our trucks are clean. In fact, we clean and disinfect all of our trucks daily. I'll tell you, when you choose us, you'll be impressed. This is Rick Vanderboom. Call Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage, and we'll improve your move.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Statewide. Even the fire inspectors. When they come through here, they say, boy, we'd love to see more storage warehouses like this because yours is always spotless. Vaulted, containerized storage. Everything is individually pad wrapped and inventoried. Whether it's a broomstick or a piano, it's all stickered and accounted for with a condition report, so it goes out the same way it came in. This is Rick Vanderboom. Call Blue Mountain Express for superior storage.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Statewide.
Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan. Help protect your information with LifeLock. Go to LifeLock.com and save up to 25% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
The only radio show in Wisconsin officially endorsed by former President Trump.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. I have been a huge supporter of WIS Red, which is the initiative by the Waukesha County Republican Party and its chairman, Terry Dietrich, to basically better inform voters about who actually are the conservative candidates in local races. That's one of the biggest issues that we have. Voters just don't know who it is that they're supposed to vote for. They know they're conservatives, they know they're Republicans, and they want to vote for conservatives in school board races, in village board races, for mayor, but these are ostensibly nonpartisan. But it always shakes out as liberal versus conservative in every single one of these races. WIS Red simply helps candidates with money, and best of all, it sends out mailers and puts online voter lists. It puts out online candidate lists for voters of who the conservative candidates are. It endorses candidates who are conservative. I think I have been vindicated in my strong belief that this needs to be replicated in every single one of Wisconsin's 72 counties. Not just because WisRed gets 80% success rates time and again. They win 80% of their races. But because of articles like this by Rory Linnane of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Craig Thompson, a 2-decade veteran of the Arrowhead School Board, tried everything short of a carrier pigeon to get a hold of WisRed, an organization that arose 4 years ago in Waukesha County to wield enormous sway in the outcomes of local elections. The group, an arm of the Waukesha County Republican Party, has helped over 400 conservative candidates win local elections in the last 4 years, including school board races. Thompson had watched as WisRed candidates replaced his colleagues on the school board. He hoped the group wouldn't come for him. He considered himself a conservative, but also felt strongly that school board candidates should be nonpartisan. Thompson filled out the contact form on the WisRed website. He mailed a letter and he paid a visit to the office in downtown Waukesha, where he left behind his business card. I was inquiring why, if we have run our board fiscally conservatively, why are you trying to remove us? Thompson said. I never got an answer, and I still haven't to this day. Wait, is this the same Arrowhead School District with the $1 million basketball locker room? That fiscally conservative school board? Or am I missing something? Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a private donor for the Shangri-La of locker rooms. Arrowhead, the school district that never met a sporting improvement that it wouldn't pass. Thompson and other long-serving school members. In April, Thompson lost his seat to a WisRed candidate by less than 2 percentage points. Thompson and other long-serving school board members in Waukesha County said they've seen a dramatic transformation in how school board campaigns are run. Dwindling are the days when they could win elections by knocking on doors and running on their records. The pressure is high to align with a party to secure their voter lists, mailers, and ideological endorsements. The pattern in Waukesha County may be particularly extreme, but Michigan State University political science professor Sarah Reckow said party politicking and big donors have turned up the heat on school board elections nationwide. Over 100 school board candidates across the state were backed by a political party or political action committee this spring, a Journal-Sentinel review of finance reports found. Angelique Byrne, who ran for school board in the city of Waukesha, was one of 4 candidates in the county who were supported by the Democratic Party, which sent out mailers supporting them. Byrne said she had spent 2 years working with other parents to try to keep school board races nonpartisan, but felt she had to accept help from the Democrats to reach as many voters as her opponent. Ultimately, the 4 candidates in Waukesha County backed by the Democrats lost their races. Oh, yes. Angelique, yes. You just had to keep up with the arms race. Is that why the Democratic Party in Waukesha and Kenosha and other big school board elections was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars? Because they needed to keep... Where's the excuse in Kenosha County? They spent $100,000. Democratic Party, $100,000 on the Kenosha School Board. No WisRed in Kenosha County, although there should be. It's this sort of hair-on-fire terror in the obviously liberal Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel over WisRed. Oh, politics is taking over our school board. What they really mean is the wrong type of people are taking over our school board. And conservatives finally figured out how to take on the teachers' unions, which usually had their way in selecting their school board candidates because it wasn't the political parties, but it was the Democrat political party giving money to the teachers' unions, and the teachers' unions essentially handpicking and anointing school board candidates who would do the teachers' unions' bidding. WIS-Red sort of changed all that, and now they're beside themselves that conservatives actually are organized, conservatives are actually focused on these local races, and conservatives have a way to turn out their vote. They have a way to get people on their side motivated, armed with knowledge in how to vote in every one of these races. And this is why I am telling you, if Brian Schimming is not on the phone, the chairman of the Republican Party of Wisconsin, is not on the phone with Terry Dietrich, who has told me repeatedly that the Republican Party of Wisconsin seems to have no interest in investing money to replicate this statewide, I don't know what we're doing here. Politics is won from the bottom up. You get conservative governance everywhere and people see how effective it is. That breeds more conservatives who understand in bigger races like state legislature and Congress and the president the value of voting for Republicans, the value of voting for conservatives, because they see it. The government that they see the most is their local government. If it's more effective, if taxes go down, and they see, hey, if we vote for these people, there's a tangible benefit to us in the form of lower taxes and better performance of government services, then we'll tend to vote Republican. I have been shouting from the high hilltops, there needs to be a WIS-Red in every single county. Every one, all 72. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Dane, Ozaukee, Washington, yes. Obviously, in communities that are larger, in communities like the WOW counties that have bigger conservative populations, but always seem to elect school boards that are a little more liberal than the general populace. Yes, we need that, but in every single one. It's not enough to just have, and I know the what was it, Badger Votes or Badger Vote, something like that. There was a great website that did this statewide, that put together a voter list. You need to have they didn't have every race. You need to have every single race. Endorsed conservative candidates all throughout the state. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back after this. It's classical conservatism, contemporary style. Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Spring is in the air, and the deals are heating up at Lynch. Get this, Lynch has over 800 new vehicles on the ground ready for immediate delivery. Spring into savings with huge rebates and financing starting as low as 0%. Lynch has new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, Rams, Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. On top of their fantastic new car selection, they have a huge inventory of pre-owned vehicles that come with the Lynch Protected Peace of Mind, a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty, and Lynch certification that includes a 168-point inspection, plus a 10-day, 500-mile satisfaction guarantee exchange policy. The Lynch family of dealerships truly has your back whether you're shopping for a new or used car. Huge spring savings event going on now at all Lynch locations, or check them out 24 hours a day at shoplynch.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Dan O'Donnell here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell alongside the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. This past weekend, Dave, I was in Las Vegas, and there was a big pool party at the hotel we were staying at for UFC 300, the big mixed martial arts event that was going on at the T-Mobile Arena. I'll admit I'm not a big UFC fan, but I've got to tell you, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, and let's stick with that theory where geopolitical and economics mix. And, you know, over the past weekend, we certainly saw geopolitical risk de-escalating, but of course at the top of the card remains Trump versus Biden. But the undercard, we saw Khomeini versus Netanyahu, Zelensky versus Putin is still on the card, and of course Kim Jong-un versus the field. All of that means that we're going to see continued geopolitical risk as we head into the rest of the election. We're seeing names in the energy and defense sectors continue to rally, so let's watch the oil prices up to $80 a barrel and perhaps going higher, perhaps even $100 a barrel. That's the reason why we have to go through those portfolios and understand as the earnings season continues to move what companies are going to beat their comparisons. It'll be very important as we go through the next couple of weeks, Dan. That's the reason why, folks, you've got to get a second set of eyes on that portfolio, make sure it aligns with your financial plan, and there's a way to get that done.
And that is to head to annexwealth.com, because what you really need to understand is not just what you own, but also why you own it, how best you're positioned for periods of uncertainty. And let's face it, with the big heavyweight matchup between Trump and Biden sort of dominating attention, you're going to need to face a whole lot of potential uncertainty. AnnexWealth.com. For Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. You've been listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Attend Biz Expo May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn how to build a legendary brand by creating raving fans from keynote speaker and author Scott Wozniak. Attend strategy seminars on company culture, business growth, AI and cybersecurity, leadership, exit planning, tax savings for business, and more. Network and connect with your peers and the region's leading product and service providers. Biz Expo is Wednesday, May 22nd. Register to attend at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
We find the best way to protect and uphold the reputation of our business is to hire good people and then take care of them. We really do love the people that work for us, and we care about what's in their best interest. And what that means to you is this: who do you really want on your job? Someone who's maybe underpaid or doesn't feel appreciated, might not have paid vacations or great work benefits? Our folks have all of these things and more. Vito and I make sure they feel appreciated, because happy people do happy work. There's a culture we're building here at Semper Fi that brings respect back to a very hard job. And that's why we know that our crews are going to do the kind of work that you expect. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Learn the secrets to create your own ultimate backyard retreat with Brett Ochtenhagen of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Tune in every Saturday at 1 p.m. on News Talk 1130 WISN. Learn more at seasonalservices.com.
Attend Biz Expo May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn how to build a legendary brand by creating raving fans from keynote speaker and author Scott Wozniak. Attend strategy seminars on company culture, business growth, AI and cybersecurity, leadership, exit planning, tax savings for business, and more. Network and connect with your peers and the region's leading product and service providers. Biz Expo is Wednesday, May 22nd. Register to attend at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Statewide.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. The trial of former President Donald Trump has resumed in New York. Why were they off on Wednesday? Why were they off on Wednesday? Well, court in New York, in the Manhattan district, they're only in session for 4 days a week. This is just fantastic, right? We're only working 4 days a week. Normally, court in New York is Monday through Thursday. But in only one case, just one, the trial of former President Trump, they're going Monday, Tuesday, taking off Wednesday, and then going Thursday, Friday. Why? Well, the answer, I think, is pretty obvious. It's because Friday is a much bigger day for campaigning, for donor dinners, for fundraising, for all of that stuff. and they want to do whatever they can to make sure that Trump is in court instead of on the campaign trail. Latest development, a juror has now backed out, saying after reflection that they could not be unbiased. After details of her personal life revealed in court allowed her to be identified by friends and colleagues, scaring her enough to want to avoid serving on the most significant trial in the country's history. She said, "I definitely have concerns now about being in public. Yesterday alone, I had friends, colleagues push things to my phone questioning my identity as a juror. I don't believe at this point that I can be fair and unbiased and let the outside influences not affect my decision to be in the courtroom," she told the judge this morning. Juan Merchan, the judge, said, "Thank you. I'm sorry. You are excused." The anonymous jury is known only to the president, his legal team, and prosecutors, unidentified by name to the general public. This is a security. It's fairly obvious. You can't have, in this high profile of a trial, jurors whose names are known to the general public. This juror said, "No, I can't be unbiased." We already had a juror who was dismissed, but only because she had a scheduling conflict. Do you remember this? A couple of days ago, it was this woman is outside the courtroom, and she was going to be on the jury. She was going to be on the Trump jury, but then said, you know what? I've got a scheduling conflict. I can't be out of. The judge is now saying this is going to be a 6-week trial. 6 weeks! Because of course it is. She said, "I have a scheduling conflict, but otherwise I could be totally biased. I could be totally unbiased." What she meant to say was, "I could be totally biased." Listen to this. This is all the gripes she has with President Trump.
Can you share your opinion of the former president and why you felt that you could be unbiased?
I'm not a fan.
Okay. The question was, why do you feel you can be unbiased? Not, why do you feel you can't be unbiased? Because she had said, "I can be unbiased. I just have a scheduling conflict." Listen to what she says.
During COVID-19, I lived with someone who was immunocompromised, and I think his handling of COVID-19 was abysmal. I have a sister who is adopted from China, and the comments he made about China when he was running for president made her very anxious and therefore made me angry.
She had another friend, if you couldn't really hear there, and this is on the streets of New York, so there's a lot of background noise. She had a friend who's from China, and Trump's comments about China made the friend very anxious, which made the juror very angry. This isn't like a policy disagreement about taxes. This is feeling viscerally angry at Trump. She thought his handling of COVID was abysmal, and that put her roommate, who's immunocompromised, their life at risk. This is deeply personal stuff. She deeply despises Trump on a personal level. She's not done yet, though.
There are policies he has supported that regard women and reproductive health that I do not agree with. And I think all of that needs to be addressed.
And, of course, we have the women's reproductive health. So Trump offends her as a woman. Trump made her angry because he made comments about China that made her friend anxious. And Trump's handling of COVID was abysmal because he put her roommates with immuno issues, life at risk. Just so we have to, and this woman, if not for the scheduling conflict, could have been on the jury. And remember, this is her saying, this is why I can be unbiased. This is why, in spite of all this, I can be totally unbiased. There is zero chance. Ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you, Trump isn't just a political figure. He inspires such visceral, deranged hatred from his political enemies that it's impossible for any one of those political enemies. And oh, by the way, New York City voted roughly 90% against Trump. It's impossible for anyone in this jury pool to be unbiased. There is no chance Trump can get a fair shake in this trial. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built-Right Furniture. Built-Right's floor sample and clearance sale is on now. Shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the very best brands made in the USA, including Heirloom, Restonic, Therapeutic, Schiffman, and more. Built-Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free self-service store. Built-Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you'll get an exceptional value and a great night's sleep, as I do on my Built-Right mattress. They do the research for you. Their team will take the time to help fit you. Built-Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built-Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $799 or more. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Built-Right, 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, and I'm so proud to be a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, a Christian, and an American. My wife Amy and I did our best to educate our children about our reasons for embracing traditional values. Recently, Amy and I became empty nesters, and now our young adults are in the real world with the American dream in their heads, their hearts, and soon it will be in their hands to share with others. God is good. Marriage and children are a blessing. Capitalism works, and America is grand. She is rich with beautiful places to explore. She's a melting pot of beautiful people. Diverse? Yes. But we are still blessed to have so much in common. Ignore the politicians and the media who sow seeds of hate. Let's embrace the wonders of life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness in America. Join me in discovering the wonders of nature and the wonders of America.
Jay Weber here, someone who knows firsthand how debilitating spine and back problems can be, and who knows where to turn to get the highest level of spine care. The team of board-certified physicians and surgeons at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Ortho Wisconsin has treatment plans that can get you back to an active lifestyle and through the least invasive method possible. They take a multifaceted approach that allows them to use a variety of treatment options and find the best for you. Dr. Michael Nolte is their newest spine surgeon, and he and his colleagues are nationally recognized clinicians dedicated to enhancing quality of care for patients looking to restore and recover spinal function. Pain managing procedures are done at Ortho Wisconsin's Ambulatory Surgery Center in Pewaukee and at their Brookfield Clinic, and the more conservative treatments, like physical therapy, are offered at their new Berlin location as well. Find more info at orthowisconsin.com. In fact, if you have any shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain, check out orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Signs, garden and home. Get your springtime blooming.
It's that time of year where every day could be a Stein's Day. Whether for home decor or an outdoor living room, inspiring gardening trends to a lush lawn, bird feeding to pet supplies, or just a gift idea for giving. Stein's Garden and Home. 17 locations in Milwaukee, Appleton, and Green Bay. Make your busy life simple.
Stein's Garden and Home.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
The housing market stays hot and prices stay high, with low inventory continuing to be the main culprit. Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty, and that's great news for sellers. High interest rates don't seem to be slowing down the buyers, but high real estate commissions are a real stick in the eye to sellers. Interview a 3.99% Redefined Realty agent before signing a contract for 5 or even 6%. Commissions are negotiable, but you have to know where to start. Visit redefinedrealty.com for your free market analysis.
You know, today, $20 barely gets you a burger and fries, and maybe it'll get you a quarter tank of gas. But you know what it'll get you, though? For just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and plenty of 5G data from my friends, my cell phone company, a veteran-owned company, Pure Talk. Make the switch today, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Now, choose a wireless company that shares your values. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, make the switch today. Pound 250, keyword save now from Pure Talk.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Guess how many more times prosecutors have accused Donald Trump of violating his gag order? 7. I believe just today and yesterday. 7 different violations of his gag order. This just in Axios.com a couple of minutes ago. Prosecutors accused the former president of repeatedly violating the gag order the judge placed on him. Trump is already in hot water for criticizing potential witnesses Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen, with prosecutors moving earlier this week to hold him in contempt of violating the gag order. Now, prosecutors alleged Trump today has violated the gag order 7 more times in the past couple of days, according to court pool reports. Prosecutors pointed to Trump's social media posts linking to articles calling Cohen a serial perjurer, which is true, and alleging that undercover liberal activists are lying to the judge to get on the jury, per a pool report. The prosecution filed a new motion requesting the posts be included in next week's hearing. Prosecutor Chris Conroy, according to CNN, said it's ridiculous and has to stop. One of Trump's lawyers does argue that these posts didn't establish any willful violations of the gag order and that reposting other people's public comments shouldn't constitute a violation. Instead, he argued, Trump's posts highlighted some of the order's ambiguities. This actually is an interesting question. If someone else is saying that the case against you is nonsense, which it is, and you retweet that, is that in violation of a gag order? My argument would be, maybe. Here is the issue, the fundamental issue at hand. The case is political in nature. Whether or not you believe that this case, let's say you believe that this case was properly brought, that there is no issue with jurisdiction, there is no issue with the statute of limitations, there's no issue with whether the prosecution even had the ability to bring this case in the first place. Let's say you think it's a totally legitimate case. No matter what, it is the central political issue right now. One of the 2 candidates for president is on trial. Does he forfeit his right to talk about that? Talking about the trial, therefore, is political speech, right? Therefore, silencing said political speech under the guise of, well, he can't talk about this because it's an ongoing criminal matter. We issued a gag order. Would the gag order therefore be unconstitutional? This, again, I will repeat, is why we have never before criminally charged presidents, former presidents, or political candidates. It just is a thing we as Americans have never done because we have this thing called the Constitution that protects political speech. So Trump is not allowed to give his opinion on the political issue of the day, his trial. You see how this works. He's not allowed to campaign because he's got to be in New York in a courtroom. And when he does campaign, he's not allowed to talk about the case, even though the case is obviously the big thing that everyone in the news media and therefore everyone in the country is talking about. If you didn't realize what this is actually about before this, It's all about getting Trump in jail or getting him at least criminally convicted before November. You should realize that now. Dan O'Donnell Show done. Mark Belling Show with me filling in coming up at 3 o'clock.